roads go ever, ever on to the lands beyond the sea. On a white ship will I sail, watching shadows part for me.
But instead we board it, get some plot device, find a robot, and blow the whole thing up. So this plot device allows us to go through the relais de Oméga 4 pour commencer la mission des suicides, but it needs time to finish baking. Which is funny because it's if and only if, and since it's a MacGuffin, so the acronym works, and well, never mind.
Oh, it's a good thing everyone knows what a MacGuffins is, otherwise that joke would make no sense.
There were a lot of long words in there, miss. We're naught but humble pirates.
Oh, wait. You know, the vocabulary that Smudboy uses, it does a really good job of giving the impression that he does know what he's talking about as far as the structure of a story and the elements within a story, and that's fine. But he assumes that everyone's on the same level, which I would think that the average YouTube viewer would not know what a MacGuffins is, or a Deus Ex Machina for that matter, and he doesn't bother to explain it at all. He says parentheses plot device, which doesn't really tell someone a lot. So, using vocabulary that is over people's heads and not bothering to clarify it in layman's terms is not a great way to present your arguments. Just saying. So, why don't I go ahead and explain this? I'm not saying that no one out there knows what it is. I know there's lots of you who do, but once again, this is YouTube. The average YouTube viewer is not a literary major or someone who critiques literature on a regular basis, so they just might not know what that word is. They may never have come across it if they didn't watch Hitchcock religiously. A MacGuffins is a term coined by Alfred Hitchcock, which basically it's like I think it can be a person or an object that is only important because it motivates the character somehow. But what that object is does not really matter. Like, for example, someone steals something from the main character, so the main character is motivated to chase him in order to get that object back, but that object could be anything. It could be money or diamonds or some family heirloom. It doesn't matter. You could interchange all that out and it would change the motivation of the character. That's a MacGuffin. And he's saying that the Reaper IFF is a MacGuffin. This has nothing to do with the intelligence of the people seeing this. Some of the most intelligent people in the world have probably never heard of what a MacGuffin is. And when you're making arguments, you need to try and be as clear and simple as possible so that it is as easy as possible for the person watching to understand you. Now, you don't have to do this, but taking a couple seconds of your time to explain what a word means will go a long way to helping your argument be understood.
I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Means no.
So instead of being on high alert wondering what a 37-million-year-old piece of alien AI enemy technology might do to your brand new ship with an AI, we decide to get all of our team of badasses on a shuttle to go on a mission. But there is no mission. That's right, no gameplay level, no segue. This is purely a plot device to get everyone off the ship so that we can advance the plot.
Yeah, okay, so it's a plot device. So, plot devices are used on a regular basis to advance the plot. I don't see the problem here. Are you saying that stories that use plot devices are bad? Because that would be like every story ever. Well, you could be saying, well, why not actually have them do a mission? Like, have them go do a loyalty mission or a side mission. But there's two problems with that. One, what if you didn't want to? What if you're a player that just wanted to do the story missions and didn't care about the side missions? You're now forcing them to do something they don't want to do. Or two, like in my case, what if you'd already done them all? By the time I got to the IFF plot where the collectors abducted the ship, yeah, there goes my speech skills right there. I had already done every loyalty mission and side mission you could do, so I had nothing to do. So then you could say, well, why don't they just make it a forced mission, like a story mission that was created for that? And then you're talking about making an entire story mission just so that you can then show what happened to Joker in the Normandy? That's a huge waste of time and effort. Just show what happened to Joker in the Normandy. Okay, so it makes a few people think that the transition was a little awkward. So what? That's better than writing an entire mission just for the sake of getting to the next scene.
And in the next scene, we have our crippled pilot waltz his way down to another part of the ship because the plot device caused the main opposing force to find our ship's location, and are now boarding it. Aside from the massive plot hole explosion this has just created in my left hemisphere, there's now peripheral holes created because of the scene it leads into. 1. Why didn't the collectors simply blow up the Normandy? They seemed pretty interested in doing that when they laid a trap for us and we managed to escape. We foiled their plans on Horizon. This is obviously setting back their collection schedule. Why the change of heart? They tried to be subtle with a trap and that didn't work. So why not just use brute force? A crew of 25 isn't worth the effort to collect when they've been taking entire colonies, and these are the guys who just royally screwed their previous colony collection pit stop. You know, Harbinger, gas doesn't pay for itself.
Just because someone does something that is surprising or unpredicted doesn't make it a plot hole. And secondly, the fact that they don't blow up the ship and actually want to capture people is only surprising if you don't pay attention.
The dead are useless. Preserve Shepard's body if possible. Shepard, you could have been useful. Shepard, submit now.
You hear those? Them's the lines Harbinger says to you when he's throwing them mud pies. It makes it quite clear that he wants to take Shepard alive, or at the very least to keep his body intact and capture that. What good would blowing the ship up do then? Because obviously he would not be getting very many intact bodies. No, if he wants to capture Shepard alive, which we have no reason to believe that he knows Shepard's not on the ship, that would denote some sort of boarding party, to where you go on board, you capture everyone, including Shepard, you take him back to your ship, and you do whatever it is you wanted to do to him. If you need more evidence to support this theory, just look at the collector ship level. Smudboy said himself that they tried to be subtle by setting a trap. You don't set a trap like that if you're just trying to kill someone. You blow them out of the sky the second they show up. Why would you risk them gaining valuable information by allowing them onto your ship if you just want to kill them? They probably wanted to capture him. Now, they tried to blow him up once he escaped because they'd rather kill him than let him leave, but the simple fact that they went through so much trouble shows that they wanted more than just to end his life.
2. How did the collectors enter the ship? I'm guessing they have shuttles. We never see them, but it would explain why they don't land their juggernaut of a cruiser on a planet and not leave a trace, after using booster rocks to take off, leaving a smoking crater in the ground. I mean, there has to be some way how these get on board, right? But we never see it.
Really? Are we really arguing about how they boarded the ship like their methods are extremely important to the story somehow? Remember the plot analysis? Alright, fine. Yeah, my guess is they have some sort of shuttle that they probably take a boarding party on to connect to the Normandy, and then they make some sort of soft seal and cut a hole in the hull, and then use their advanced AI to somehow hack open the shuttle bay door. Remember, they do work for the Reapers. And your reasoning is, well, they can't have a shuttle, because if they had a shuttle, then they would have used the shuttle to capture the colonies instead of landing their gigantic ship there. What? Okay, let's pretend they do have a small little yellow bus, okay? Do you remember that, like, less than 2 minutes ago, you just said that 25 people is not worth capturing when they capture entire colonies, like hundreds of thousands of people? Do you have any idea how many trips on the short yellow bus it would take to ferry up hundreds of thousands of people into their big collector ship? You remember the collectors being fast? They're speedy little buggers. They get there, they get in, and they get out. How long do you think it would take them to ferry everyone in this little shuttle of theirs? It would be much faster to land the ship, chunk everyone in there, and then take off again. And about the booster rockets leaving a hole, once again, really? Is that breaking the game if that really did leave some sort of burned hole? But hey, maybe they were taking off in a hurry because, I don't know, some sort of crazy AA tower was blowing holes in it, so it had to leave fast, so it used rocket boosters it wouldn't normally use in takeoff? Just a thought. Alright, so what's next? I mean, come on, give me something good this time.
So whatever, they somehow get on board, magically getting the shuttle bay doors open or something, which is in the starboard cargo, which is the 4th deck on the right of the ship. Now at this point, Edie asks Joker to get his ass down to the 3rd deck, which is at the port side, which is the left of the ship, where the AI core is, so Edie can get control of the ship. So why would our super smart AI ask Joker, the slow-moving cripple from the 2nd deck at the very front of the ship, to walk all the way down to the back of the 3rd deck, which is the AI room? Wasn't Dr. Chakwa and a bunch of other guys right there? Let's suppose that only Joker could have connected Edie to the AI core then. Wouldn't Edie have at least asked Chakwas to hide in the AI core room?
I said give me something good. Okay, so you think Chakwas is in sickbay 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? What, would Shepard lock the door when they leave? Did it ever occur to you that perhaps when the Collectors attacked she was not there? Perhaps eating food, or sleeping, or getting frisky with a bottle of whiskey? It's not unheard of for her. I mean, she's not in there all the time. And on a ship so small, they wouldn't really have a medical staff. They would just have her on call. So she could have been, like I said, sleeping or in some other location. There could have been no one in the medbay at the time. Or, here's a better idea for you. Maybe Edie did try and tell Chakwas to unshackle the AI core, and Chakwas was just unsuccessful. Maybe she was captured before it happened. Maybe she was unconscious or something. I mean, Edie is an AI. She can multitask. Maybe she asked everyone she could to try and get down there and unshackle her. But since Joker was so far away from the action to begin with, he was the only one she could safely navigate to there. Everyone else got caught up in the fighting before they could get to sickbay. So there's this thing that Smudboy keeps doing, that he assumes that if the conversation did not take place on camera, it never happened. Why would you not think that Edie would be contacting multiple people? Simply because they didn't show it in the video game? Do you honestly expect the video game to show you the battle from all 25 different perspectives of every crew member on the ship? Not only would that take forever, but it would be ridiculous.
3. How is the service shaft in the science lab connected to the life support room? Wouldn't Joker have ended up somewhere around or past Miranda's office, since the window in the science lab overlooks the engine core?
Really? You really just made that what? Okay, so do you honestly think that a service shaft only goes to one location? Haven't you seen Star Trek? Those things web the ship. You can get anywhere in those service quarters. That's why they're designed. You know, there's this funny little thing called intersections. It allows hallways to go off in multiple directions. You should check it out sometime. They're really cool. Why in the world would you think that that service bay only went to one place? It probably goes to lots of places, including medbay. And if someone's going to point out that, well, if you look at the loading screen map, it only shows one path. If anyone actually wants to make that dumb argument, that's because they're showing you the path Joker took. Why in the world would the computer show you all the different paths that Joker's not taking?
4. After Edie tells Joker what to do in connecting the AI core to the primary control module, which doesn't look like it took a computer scientist to figure out, let alone a pilot, Edie now has control of the ship. So why does Joker still have to go down to engineering to press a few buttons on a computer to activate the primary drive core in engineering? Doesn't Edie have full control of the software controlling the hardware of the ship? I could understand if it was a non-electronic device or gadget that needed to be manually turned on. But this is literally one of those computer consoles.
No one ever said that just because Joker unshackled the AI meant she had control of every aspect over the ship, period. She asked Joker to reactivate the main drive. Do you know how that's done? Because I don't, or what's involved in it. But it would suggest to me that she can't activate such an important system on her own. She may be able to interact with it once it's activated, but a human has to flip the switch, so to speak. And unless you can show me a schematic for how those holographic pads work and why Edie should be able to access something just because Joker did it through a holographic pad, the argument has no basis to it. To be honest, this argument doesn't really seem like Smudboy. I mean, he's very, very good at demonstrating what the game does or does not tell us, and there's never any hint in the game whatsoever that Edie has the ability to interact with holographic data pads